So it is finally time for our annual video where I give you as much feedback from using these units for the last 5 months on JP, as much feedback from the units that are available on the banner as I possibly can in this nice, mostly short and sweet video to help you make your best decision on what you're wanting to do, right? Like at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to a lot of preference and all of that. But hopefully I can present some things that maybe gives you a better idea of what's up with these units, what's up with these banners, and all of that. So with that said, I'm gonna shut up and let's actually dive in to today's video. All right, so the way I like to do these is we do a refresher of the characters. I then give you my opinion on the character, and then we dive in on the second half and actually talk about the banner, the place where you're going to obviously be spending your stones, and which one I think has, of course, more value, etc., etc. So looking at the actual LRUI, I'm sure he is the most hype of anybody here. He does do a lot of stuff and does a lot of stuff really, really well. So he is the leader, of course, representatives of Universe 7. If you haven't seen it yet, the entire anniversary is basically centered around representatives of Universe 7. Lots of EZAs, lots of just everything happening, and also Miraculous Awakening. Category key +3, HP attack and defense plus a whopping 170%. 170%. Super attack for his 12 to 17 causes colossal damage to enemy with a high chance of performing a critical hit for 1 turn. And then his 18 key and above causes melee colossal damage to enemy with a high chance of performing a critical hit for 1 turn. Now he and Vegeta are the same on this front, and the cool thing about that is that basically they have additionals built in, and then of course you also have the attribute system too. The second that you start doing multiple attacks, they are all guaranteed criticals at that point. High chance is a 50% chance to perform a critical hit right here. And so once you're on to your second attack for that particular rotation, you are now looking at everything being criticals, which is crazy, and why these two units are still arguably the best 2 units in the game, period. Even with the introduction of this Gogeta, all of that, the things that they bring to the table are absolutely insane. So now let's dive into the actual passive here. Attack and defense plus 150%, which again is nutty. And why it is also important, and why I focused even on the 12 to 17, is because you're going to be seeing that a lot with the additionals that this UI Goku will be getting. Great chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack. So what that is actually a 70% chance of dodging. So it is not a guaranteed dodge, right? This UI Goku has no way of essentially having like a guaranteed dodge here or anything like that, not like the EZA for the intelligence UI Goku. So you do still have a chance here of getting hit, and that will be key here in a second when we start talking about that as well. So 70% chance to evade enemies' attack, including super attacks, key +1 up to key +5 with each attack evaded, including super attacks. And that is really, really key because, again, it is a 70% chance to dodge. Of course, it can't always, you know, there's still that 30%. You can still get hit. We're not going to sit here and act like you can't still get hit, but you have a high chance there of building up 5 key very, very, very fast with this Goku. And I think one of the key elements that makes him, gives him a little bit of an edge over the Vegeta is his utility, and the fact that he does have that chance to dodge, and he builds up his key just significantly faster. And after using him for 5 months, I can say that has been my experience with this UI Goku, is that building up to that max of 5 key happens very, very, very fast. Plus an additional defense plus 30% after evading an attack, including super attack within the same turn, which is why he is so busted. Because if you evade a bunch of attacks, he just becomes an absolute tank if he does have to actually take a hit, which is just so nice. Medium chance of launching an additional super attack, again, like I said, built in literally to his passive. He's able to get off additionals, so not even including when you are throwing in additionals into the attribute system. And even if he's at 55%, you're still able to give him that 10% chance to do an additional from the attribute system, because he's AGL and he gets that +5 on additional attack there in sort of the free attribute system spot. When HP is 50% or less upon entering attacking turn, after the character receives attack 3 times in battle, if the character or an ally attacking the same turn receives a KO attack, revives and recovers 70% HP. Now the thing with this is so difficult to get off. And while I know that I was just mentioning the whole like dodging, there's the chance of still getting hit, this means you have to receive an attack. So there's a 30% chance for you to actually get hit with Goku. I've seen the revival on Goku maybe 2 or 3 times. That's it in 5 months. And I use this unit nearly every single day. every single day I run Representatives Universe 7 because that team just absolutely shreds. There's not a team in the game, in my personal opinion right now, that shreds harder than that team in particular. Because EZA, LR Goku, and Frieza are so nutty mixed with everything else that that team has. It just shreds. I'm sure there's other teams you guys can out there and you can tell me, and I'm sure you will go ahead and tell me in the comment section that are better or equivalent. But from my personal experience, that team is just absolutely disgusting. And I think I've seen him revive roughly 3 times. If you're wanting to see revivals anyway, it's way easier to get one off with the Vegeta. So he does have an active on top of a revival. His active ability greatly raises attack temporarily and causes ultimate damage to the enemy. It is super easy to activate. Can be activated when HP is 50% or more, starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle. So it's a very, 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 very easy active to get off. And there is a lot happening with this unit. Revive, active. He's an LR, so he's got multiple attacks. There's just a lot happening with him. Links in the sky are Shocking Speed, PFB, Godly Power, Kamehameha, Tournament of Power, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. So key is really not an issue here. Pretty much have all the key links you could ever want with this unit on the teams he'll be ran with. And of course, he fits onto Realm of Gods, Universe of Alpha Saga, Pure Sands, Representatives Universe 7, Goku's Family, Kamehameha, Turtle School, Miraculous Awakening, and Power of Revival. Speaking of Power of Revival, let's come over here to the Vegeta. Now, Vegeta does have the sort of costume change ability, which happens after using his active ability. He is the Power of Revival, or Representatives Universe 7, category key +3, HP, attack, and defense plus 170%, just like the Goku. And then same thing, just like the Goku, his 12 to 17 causes colossal damage to enemy with a high chance of performing a critical hit for 1 turn. His 18 key causes mega colossal damage to enemy with a high chance of performing a critical hit for 1 turn. Passive here, again, it's going to sound very, very similar, at least at the front. Attacking defense plus 150%, but because this guy doesn't have dodges built in, instead he has actual damage reduction, which is insane. Reduces damage received by 10%, plus an additional damage reduction of 10% at a max of 30% with each attack received within the same turn. Now that becomes massive. I've taken this guy into some of the most difficult events with type neutral, not even type advantage, and he has just done very, very well. He's done very, very well. But the thing is that does reset after every single turn. So you're not just like out of the woods the second that you've got it maxed 1 rotation, because the second he comes back, it's going to be reset, and there is an element of worrying about getting supered and dying, because that built-in 10% is not enough to negate like a super on a very difficult event like the God of Destruction event, or even some of the like SBR stages and stuff like that. He does rock most of it, but I think that is sort of the edge, because again, Goku can still take a hit, but that is part of the edge that I think a lot of people typically give the point sort of to Goku, because then the additional part here is now he gets key +1 at a max of +5 with each attack performed. Now, if it was with each attack received, we'd obviously be talking about a much different situation here. This Vegeta for me is not rainbowed. He is, of course, an intelligence unit, which already sets him back a little bit too in terms of damage output, because his free sort of path gives him +5 dodge. But looking into this unit and using him pretty consistently, you do just get more ki with the Goku way faster, right? But I do very consistently get 3 attacks with this Vegeta in 1 rotation. So usually by the time he's come back for 3 times, his ki is maxed for me, like almost nearly like 90% of the time. By the time his 3rd rotation back, so whether that be the 5th or 6th total rotation that we have been playing, he's typically maxed out with his ki, which then puts him on somewhat of a level playing field in terms of that with the Goku. Then let's move on here. Medium chance of launching an additional super attack. Again, very similar here to the Goku. When HP is 50% or less upon entering attacking turn, after the character receives attacks 7 times in battle. Again, this guy doesn't dodge outside of course, his attribute system, so it's way easier to get this revival off. If the character or an ally attacking the same turn receives a KO attack, revives and recovers 70% HP. Now, I've seen this guy, honestly, he's revived for me countless times, if I'm being honest. A lot of the times I've done on purpose, but it is just significantly easier to get his revival off, because all you literally have to do is receive attack 7 times. He's going to get attacked a bunch. It's literally his job. His job is to go in and tank. As long as you do not get supered and you get that damage reduction maxed out, I mean, he's a boss, bro. Like he with fully maxed out damage reduction is actually pretty insane to see. and it's very, very, very handy. And so getting his revival off is not a problem at all in my personal experience of the last 5 months of using him. Whereas with Goku, totally different story, right? Even with sometimes trying, you can't do it because you just dodge, which again, actually goes and gives him points, right? In my own experience, it's not really taking away because you don't necessarily want to see the revival in a lot of cases, right? You want to win. So he also too has an active ability, and again, that's how you activate his costume change. His active ability, exactly like Goku's, can be activated when HP is 50% or more, starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle, and it does cause mega colossal damage to all enemies. So you're facing off against an event with multiple enemies like SBR or something like that. Very, very handy for, you know, something of that sort of content. And he does have, of course, again, a costume change, which I think is actually really sick. And that does change all of his super attacks. See, now, once you've done the costume change, all of his super attacks do get updated. A lot of files in the database there for this because everything that he was doing before, he now has to do shirtless, which is pretty dope. Links in the sky are prodigies, royal lineage, godly power, prepared for battle, tournament of power, fierce battle, and legendary power. As you can see here, as far as like actual key links go, he's good for like obviously other Vegeta style units, but in terms of just overall linkage ability, the Goku in terms of key just definitely wins out a little bit there. Again, royal lineage is not like the worst link ever, but it's not like, say, as common as something like shocking speed or something like that. He does fit on Universe, Valva Saga, Realm of Gods, Pure Saiyans, Full Power, Representative is a Universe 7. I'm getting all over the place here. Vegeta's family, siblings, bond, worthy rivals, bond of master and disciple, all struggle, miraculous awakening, power revival, and gifted warrior. So there are the 2 units. Ultimately, where do I come down on it? I feel like you probably were hearing it. I do personally enjoy using the Vegeta more. I do think that in a lot of cases they are both reliable. The same argument you can make for one, you can make for the other, right? Like the argument that you can make against Vegeta and his damage reduction of getting super attacked right out of the gates, you can make the same exact argument for a Goku getting attacked right out of the gates, and his sort of 30% chance to not dodge actually does, you know, end up biting you in the butt essentially, and you do end up dying. So the same sort of argument that can be made for one can be made for the other. However, I will say this, there are events now that actually negate dodging, make it to where you cannot dodge. And in those particular cases, there are definitely situations where Vegeta would be better, because if you can't dodge, again, this Goku can build defense, but the thing is that he needs to evade to do that. And he's still not bad. Not gonna sit and act like he's not, but in those very specific situations, obviously Vegeta ends up being a little bit more reliable, but the Goku can be fine as well too. So it's very specific situations, but I think consistently across the plethora of content that Dokkan has to offer, I do think that the Goku has the edge. I'm not gonna sit here and act like he doesn't. I think he definitely does have the edge, but I think that Vegeta is far closer to being as good as Goku is than a lot of people like to give him credit for. So in my personal opinion, I like Vegeta and using Vegeta more, but I'm also, you know, Vegeta fanboy, so that's not really fair. But I will also recognize the fact that I do think the UI Goku is just substantially the better unit. The kit works a little bit better. The synergy and everything with him is just a little bit stronger, making him sort of the better overall candidate. If you're just purely in this, what does Nano think is the better unit just out of like actual for taking on content? It is the UI Goku. But at the end of the day, I think ultimately your decision should be, which do I think is cooler, which do I like more, Vegeta, Goku, and that's where you should go. And a game that is now 6 years old, and a lot of content can be beaten with a lot of different teams, and you don't really need to focus so much on just their usability in terms of just like to the nitty gritty of like just what exactly content can be beaten with these units, because a lot of different units can beat a lot of different content in Dokkan these days. So let's talk the banners themselves. I know we deep dived into that heavily. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will ask, if you did, you might hit that like button. Of course, if you're new to the channel, you might subscribe to be here for all of the content that we're going to be doing over Dokkan for the next little bit here. But looking at these 2 banners, I think you can pretty obviously take just a pretty solid look at both of these banners and know out of the gates which is probably a better overall banner, and that is Goku's. I just think that there is more to be offered here. I will say this, so if we go down the list here, I already said I do think Goku is the better unit. If you are truly just that's what you're looking for out of this video. then that sort of makes that already going in line here. That already puts an advantage to the Goku banner. I also think, and I don't want to do too much of a deep dive into this, but I also think between the Gohan and Piccolo and Gohan and Frieza unit, because that's what these are. This STR Frieza, Dokkan awakens into a Gohan and Frieza. That is an extreme unit, which does kind of make things interesting. When this Gohan, Dokkan awakens into a Gohan and Piccolo unit. And while they both have their use case scenarios, I do think from my personal usage of them, which I've used them quite a lot, this Gohan and Piccolo are far more consistent, put up far better numbers, and are just more fun to use, I think, at the end of the day. Like, at the end of the day, I think that should matter as well, and I just think that the Gohan and Piccolo are just substantially more fun to use. Now, that's not to say that this Gohan and Frieza don't have their cases, because they can still enemy super attack, which is really, really good for SBR, which of course is one of the larger portions of in-game content within Dokkan, so that is super, super good. They also have a chance to guard, but you know, a lot of that is also being helped by the fact that this unit is pretty nutty in terms of defense and attack and everything. And also, both these units do support Universe 7, so that's just really good for both of them. But I think overall, if you're trying to go for one in particular out of these two, you go for the Gohan and the Piccolo infinitely over the Gohan and the Frieza. So there's that. So I think that sort of gives, again, more of the edge back to the Goku banner. But then as we dive into the actual banner itself, you know, Buhan versus Vegeta here, it's not even a question. Buhan is a really, really good unit. I don't want to act like he's not, but Vegeta is just a better unit. Like, let's not even spend time on that. Vegeta is the better unit. Now, the AGL Gohan versus Intelligence Perfect Cell is a tricky one, because the Gohan is definitely more usable and a lot more content, and obviously fits well with this new AGL UI Goku 2. But with the link level update nearly a year ago now, the Intelligence Cell is significantly better, and his revive is really, really good. And so he's very, very clutch. I shouldn't say revive, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Sorry, evolve. But basically, the fact that you're able to get a heal off of him if you're beneath 30% HP is really, really clutch. And then as far as the Super Saiyan 4 slots goes, does it even really matter now? I feel like most people are just going to run the easy A's. But obviously, if you did want to weight those back and forth, the SSJ4 Goku is the better unit, especially in these days. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku versus, obviously, Kefla here. My personal opinion, Kefla, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, I'm just not the biggest fan of his mechanic. He does have the super dope and absolutely, like, insane active ability. It was fun to use it a few times. I'm good. I'm over it. His leader ability is sometimes nice and sometimes usable, but outside of that, I actually think this banner finally gets a dub out of me. Hit versus Beerus, very clearly Beerus, like, get out of here. MV versus SSJ3 Goku, personally, Majin Vegeta. SSJ3 Goku, he hits hard, but I actually think in a lot of content, Majin Vegeta also hits hard, and ultimately just ends up being the overall, like, just better unit of those two in particular. So I think that the Vegeta banner gets a win here from me on that. UI Goku versus SSBE in this current situation, because Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta does not have an EZA. I'm sure it is imminent, but it's not here, and it will be here for the Intelligence UI Goku very soon on Global. Intelligence UI Goku, easily. That EZA is absolutely insane. It's a ton of fun. He gets, literally, when he transforms, the exact same turn that he transforms, he has guaranteed 100% dodges, which is nuts. Like, absolutely insane. So you can't really beat that. So in my personal opinion, UI easily gets the dub over that. The Angel Frieza versus Fizz 17. Fizz 17, in my opinion, and especially given the fact of long term, because that physical 17 will probably get an EZA at some point. And I think it just will end up bringing significantly more to the table than even an EZA for here. So you didn't pick up on that. The better banner, I think, overall is probably the Goku's banner. But ultimately, to end this video, which kind of negates everything we've talked about, I think it just comes down to personal preference. Because there's no denying the fact that this newer Vegeta here, the Goku and Vegeta unit, is really, really good. Comes in very, 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 very clutch for a lot of content. And in my personal opinion, over all the units available on all of these banners, they are the most valuable side unit banner. But at the end of the day, and I had this argument the other day, you know, one of my videos, these are 10 unit featured banners. I still call that trash. It is not good. They are only adding those units so that way it decreases your chances of pulling the very specific unit that you're all here for. And ultimately, and I know, you know, like a lot of the super tight-knit Dokkan community loves to weight these exactly how I did it, and that's why I did it the way I did it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, 95, if not 99% of everyone that is summoning on these banners are either going for Vegeta or UI Goku. And do not deny that. And if you throw 1,000 stones at the banner and you get every single unit but UI Goku or but Vegeta, you are not going to be happy. I don't care what anyone says. You can pull literally every single unit on this banner, a copy of every unit, multiple copies of every unit on this banner, but not pull UI Goku or not pull Vegeta. And if your friend or somebody tells you, yeah, but dude, you got all these, you're gonna wanna knock them upside the head. You're gonna be like, all right, bro, I don't care how much value Buhan gave me or STR Vegeta gave me or whoever gave me. I summoned on this banner to get a UI Goku or to get a Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. And ultimately, that is why I say 10 unit banners are trash. They ultimately are. There is a lot of high value here. I won't deny that. But if you are in it to get the new units, which is why you're probably here, it's the reason you either re-downloaded the game or you are coming back to the game or you're diving into the game for the first time, you're there for UI Goku or Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. You don't care about the other units. But yeah, ultimately, if you want my opinion, UI Goku is the better unit, has the better banner. But I know there are a lot of Vegeta fanboys like me out there, and Vegeta's banner still has a lot to offer here too. And so don't take what I said too crazy, because there's still a lot to be pulled over here on this banner as well. And of course, the Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta is a ton of fun to use. He's seriously, he is probably my favorite Vegeta to use in Dokkan, hands down. And he does absolutely demolish all the content, bro. It's a good time. It's a good time. Anyways, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I think this one was a little bit long, but I was trying to be as in-depth as I possibly could, and hopefully there you go. That's, I think you already knew the answer when you probably clicked on this video, but there were some of my experiences with using the units, and I think both of them are a ton of fun. I think both of them are very usable for tons of different content. And ultimately, if you happen to be a lucky individual that pulls both these units and you're sitting on LR Goku and Frieza and a lot of good Universe 7 units right now, you are in for an absolute treat, my friend, especially legitimately if you're able to pull the both of the Gohan units too. You're in for an absolute treat of a team. It is absolutely nutty. So anyways, y'all, best of luck on your summons when you do dive in. If for whatever reason you watch this and you're not summoning, I appreciate you either way. Thank you so much. As always, I love the support, but I will see you guys in the next video, which very, very soon will be summons on these banners. So y'all stay tuned, but have a great good day. Keep on keeping on Nanogenix off, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.